Here's why restaurant people are the greatest people on earth. This happened to me on what I called the worst day of my life. I was a senior in college. It was Easter Sunday. I'm working brunch. All the kids' parents have money are coming in and visiting them and taking them out to brunch. And of course, Brendan has to work. I already wasn't feeling great because the night before I went by the dorm room of the person I thought I was dating, and her whiteboard said, "Do not disturb," and she was in there with someone else. So I plug in my iPod 2 and I listen to the saddest indie rock of the 2000s. I get to work the next day and the owner pulls me aside and says, "I want to make sure I tell you this individually, and I want you to hear it from me. The bank's not giving us a loan, and so we're going to be closing on after next Saturday." Get in my car to drive home, and I call my best friend, and he says, "Hey, did you know that Felix Del Greco died in Iraq yesterday?" So I lost a friend from high school in the war. So I call my parents and thinking I could kind of salvage the day, and my mom says, "I can't talk now, honey. Grandma didn't show up to Easter. Grandma had a stroke. Felix is dead. Relationship's over. Restaurant's closing. And I just put down a deposit on my first adult apartment in Chicago, so I need this money." So I walk into the kitchen and I just say to the entire crew, "We're going out with a bang, okay?" Meanwhile, everyone who's ever gotten a gift certificate to this restaurant all of a sudden shows up to cash in on it, even though the bank's just going to foreclose on it and someone else is going to own this restaurant in 2 months. So it's spring at a college campus, so I walk around giving out the business card of this restaurant saying the oldest restaurant in the county is closing. If you're visiting here right now, this is your last chance to eat here. So for the next week, there is a line out the door, and we don't have to be cool or polite to anyone. So for the next week, as purveyors march into the restaurant and run out with our dry goods and our meat and our food supplies, there is a steady stream of visiting parents and kids from the college who are like, "Oh, we heard this restaurant's the place to be." No more dumb uniform. I walk in there like I'm Seth Cohen in the OC in 2003. On our last night, I march into the kitchen and I start handing out PBRs from a 12-pack across the line. A couple who own the place come up to me and the husband's like, "Brendan, I'm going to strangle you. There's a line out the door." And wifey says, "Yeah, but I've got a system now. Everyone paying with a gift card is in the back of the line, and all the paying customers have never been here before and they're never going to come here again." I clock out and I bring the entire staff to my local campus bar, and the bartender says, "You've got an open tab because I know that you guys closed today." And the owner of the campus coffee shop, like the cafe from Friends in the 90s, says, "I think it's really cool that you wrote it out and stayed all the way. I wish my employees would do that because now that it's final season, people are quitting left and right." And he gave me the job that tied me over until I moved to Chicago. The end.